and today I want to make the stove jack for the tent. I'll show you what we're going to need and then we'll get straight down to it. If you're making your own, you could be looking at 12 inch by 12 inch or 18 inch by 18 inch. So this is the window in the tent and I need a minimum, bare minimum here of 27 inches. I'll stretch this out by 20. So first thing I'll be using is a fire blanket. That is going to be the stove jack. I'm going to measure it up to the tent here. Now this is quite important. This is high temperature fireproof silicone. I got that online. Scissors, tape, a spreader, skeleton gun and a sheet of cardboard. So with the fire blanket in place now, I'm going to start spreading the silicone. I'm going to make it a lot bigger than it needs to be, or spread it out a lot more than I need to. Then I cut it to size and only then. So I'm going to load this silicone, and remember we're using fireproof silicone, into the skeleton gun. But first I need to cut the nozzle and the end here. So that's the skeleton gun all loaded up. It's just a case now of spreading it out on this, and for that I'm going to use a squeegee type spreader and just coat one side, give it 24 hours, let it dry, flip it over and do the same the other side. I'm going to start from this line here. I'm going to go above it and beyond where I need to go. I would use this only in a well ventilated room. It's going to give quite a toxic effect off. It's not poisonous, but it's not nice either. Nice and thick with this. Well beyond the lines where I want to go. So that section there's done. Another bead here. And I want to work it into the fabric as much as I can. Don't want to miss anywhere. If I think it needs a second coat, I will put a second coat on it. Now I think this was costing around 30 quid to buy one, 12 inch by 12 inch. For the price of that I can make 3 of these. The back panel of the tent. It has half mesh, half plastic. I'll be using just a pair of scissors and I'm going to cut it out to the inside edge of the seam. So I'm getting as close to the seam as I can, but I want to keep the seam in. Now I'm quite lucky there's a window seam. If you haven't got a window seam, perhaps you should double stitch the fabric where you've cut. I'm no good at stitching. Okay, I'm at the point now where I need to sew the stove jack into the tent, and I haven't got a machine to do this, so it's back to the old trusty sewing tin and I'll be doing it by hand. So I've got a needle threader and a needle, and the needle threader itself will be great in the bug out bag. My cotton, put it over the hook, release the trigger, pull it out, and we're ready to start sewing. Should have got a machine. And rather than use pins, I've just put stitch in every so often where I would have a pin. Now I need to put a set square along the corners to come off the top stitch in here and mark down an exact 90° here, and that hopefully corresponds to this seam here. The tent itself has a double reinforced seam or hem, and it's been taped. It is incredibly strong. I have already stitched a little of this on, but I'm using a simple running stitch, and I'm doubling each running stitch and locking it off. I'll show you that now. So I'm coming in a few mil and out the other side, ensuring I have the tent fabric pinched into that also. So back in, ensuring I go through the tent, or the seam of the tent, and before that stitch comes together, I'm going to push the needle through it and draw it in, and that has locked off. So I'm going to go from this stitch here to this one here and join them all up. Now these little anchor stitches are in the centre of the seam, so if I run these hand stitches in a straight line, I know I'm hitting this in the seam here. And I've put a running stitch joining them anchor stitches. Okay, it's in, and I'll show you how it looks from the outside view. Set up my camp cot, my little easy chair. So if I was just to cut a hole the same shape as a stovepipe, it wouldn't fit because of the pitch or the angle of the tent here. So we have to have a shape something different. I'll show you what I mean. I'll just show you on a rough sketch here. Stovepipe here on a pen. Now that wouldn't fit because of the pitch. The actual shape we're looking for is more like this. Bring it down some, and another half here, and joined up so it's more egg shaped or elliptical here. That's what we don't want. That's more like what we want, and I'll show you how to measure this up. So I've marked with an X here where I want it. I'm just going to draw half of this shape here and just a letter U. Let's finish that off. So here's the bottom, and I'm going to put one of the pipes to it, and I'm going to offer up a second pipe, coming as vertical with these. Get my pen and just mark off underneath here like that. Bring this pipe now up to the top and draw another half moon around it. Like that. Join these up. Now this section here needs to be cut out. Now when it comes out on the vertical, this is what we have. What I found is a metal bird feeder. It's not tall enough. The stove is just sat on my camp chair, so I'd like the stovepipe to come well above the height of the tent itself, and it's sat below it. Okay, what a shame. As you can imagine, that's the end of the STOVEJACK Make, and you will be with me when I light it up, once I have 2 more sections of stovepipe and some extra heat-proof silicone to put on that. I'm gonna trim the edges and tape up the seams. Until next time, take care of yourself and join me a little later when we fire this up. Take care.